Hey, Trent.
Hi, Deepa. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. A busy day today, right?
It's always a busy day today, right? We start our mornings and we get excited about what's coming, and it's always good to have our daily huddle.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing that I like the most about it is that the fact that it's so short. So, shall I start first?
Please.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen and we can go. So the daily huddle is something that Trent and I do, where we actually do more of a weekly huddle. But basically, what we do is that we share with each other about what we are planning to do for the week, and then we say, "Hey, this is what we accomplished for the week." So what we have in here is this week's plan. So the items in here are the way I have it for my startup is because I have my marketing, my product plan, my events, sales, customer operations. So I have a plan for every single item. And then at the end of the week, I say, hey, this is what got accomplished. So let's actually take a look at last week. This was last week, 222. So this is my WIG, which is my wildly important goal. Even though I have a lot of these items in here, I still have something that says I have to make sure that these things get done this week. So I did not do great in my wildly important goal. So not happy with that. But my marketing was good. My product was good. My events was good. My sales I'm not happy with. Customer was good. Operations was okay. Funding was not, I'm not happy with. Partnership was okay. So this is what my last week has been. So every week what I do is, so this is my this week, right? My current week, where I
Hmm.
haven't, as you noticed, I haven't put any indication on how I did yet. So I have my plan for the week that I
Hmm.
do at the beginning of the week, my week for the week, and then for every one of these items, I say, this is what I do for marketing, for product, etc., etc., etc. You got it. And so one of the things that I really like about this system, so there's a system that, this is my system. Everybody can create their own system. But the thing that I liked about the system is I can have one look at it and see how my marketing has been, how my product has been, how my events have been. So what it lets me do is that if I'm doing really well in one of the items, then I don't have to worry about, then I don't have to, spend too much time on that specific item. Instead, I can focus on an item which I wasn't that good at. So that is it. That is my day. That's my huddle. And now over to you.
Wow, that's great work on your huddle. I was just finalizing a couple things on mine as well, and let me show you, and I will share my screen with you and show you a little bit of my week.
Okay.
There we go. And so as I look at this, in the same now, I just started monitoring my weeks. You can see I have a lot of weeks, but I didn't always score this. So this was really a new addition to our company and our organization, which really I love the visibility that you showed there, which is so good, right? And so for me, for our week, we adjusted this wig. One second, let me just get a little refresh here. And I write in my wig, I write in a lot of my accomplishments. Fortunately for me this week, I did, and I'm not rating my wig, but I am writing notes in on it. Fortunately for me, we really targeted the big three things this week, and we did get those done. So that was probably the good thing. Unfortunately, what I found out is I have so many big things to do, it feels like, right?
Uh-huh.
So as I look down my list, I could put a lot of things as maybe some of the most important things in my list,
Mhm.
and it would be advantageous for me to have them in, but I just can't, we're back to that priority, right? How do we prioritize? How do we get that right? So that's really important for us. So as I look at the weekly planner on this, really targeted that well. On the client plan, we did okay. We did okay on that, but could have been a little better, right? As it says, like yellow. And
Mhm.
that was really, we have a lot of things to do for our clients each week. We're prioritizing those things and dispersing that and delegating that sometimes among clients. This isn't just always for me.
Mhm.
So we do have some results in that. In the marketing side, We continue to go yellow on that. A lot of things got up and accomplished. As you can see, my week was pretty yellow on our podcast plans. We actually did pretty well, which was a lot of our focus this week, which was good. We actually hit that. And then on our results of our content, again, you see a lot of yellows this week. So we did a lot. And when I really have to look back at all my yellows, I really have to think like, wow, what did I, as I look through my week, am I trying to do too much? And the reality is that when I look, as we go to the daily huddle and I click on that plus to add my daily huddle, right? I like to expand all at this top right so I can see everything. And when I select my date for today, excuse me, I can't see my date there. Where's my, oh yeah, my March. Hold on. I got to move this a little bit so I can see my date. Is that February? No. You see how I'm doing that there? Oh, there I can move it. There we go.
Yeah.
So as I look at the second, did I win the yesterday? Yesterday we did yellow. Today's impact tasks. As I look at my big tasks today, I have client meetings that are very important today. I have a scheduling call for our podcasting that is going to allow 2 new people to schedule. So as we get finalize our month for guests on our calls, we're trying to work a month in advance on that. So that's really important. So I have a very important scheduling call on that. And I have a filing to make today from an administrative standpoint, right?
Sure.
So those are things that in our company, those are going to be my 3 most impactful items. What could prevent me from winning the day? I don't expect any impediments today, but I like to put that I don't see anything. Additional comments are sometimes we are at risk with client schedules, and that sometimes gets us pushed and can eliminate us from getting maybe our client meeting or something like that. That can happen. We were yellow, and because we were yellow yesterday, we were yellow because we underestimated the time of a project yesterday. And so we got 1 and 2 done, and we couldn't get to our 3rd key item yesterday because what we thought was going to take an hour on one of our projects turned out to be about 2.5 hours. So all of a sudden everyone's working a little later. We're doing a couple things, and there's probably a somewhat consistent thing that I see, right, with that. Now we tie our goals to batch time planning, and then a couple of goals I have on here: presence and being your best. And I have one of those as part of the speaking engagements with that. So I save that. I'm done. And I've got my day set for my huddle, and I'm focused on that. Now that always comes back to the weekly, as we talked about, like, hey, which is it part of our clients? Is it part of our marketing strategy? Which are part of our administration? So we tie those goals back and make sure that those always connect.
Yeah, great. That is awesome, Trent. You can stop sharing now. Let's just talk a little bit about our learnings from the huddle, right? I'm going to ask you. You saw my colors and you saw my general huddle, right? What are your thoughts on what's going on with what I'm doing? And yeah.
Well, I think there's great insight. The reason I like your colors as you go through is I like the insight, especially categorically. Do we need to put more effort into this? Let's now compare. Now, like, as a company, what I want to do with our clients is I want to go back and go, let's look at the KPI we were going for compared to our result every week or every day, depending on what we're looking at, and look at that data. Like, are we ignoring the data that we're not getting it done? Are we putting it off? And maybe being a little bit, in a way, just not wanting to focus, that we don't like it, procrastination, right? are we doing that? Or do we not have the personnel and the team or the tools to get
Right.
this done? Are we asking our team to upskill to skills we don't even have?
Yeah,
So
and
all of those.
all three, so I can, in my case, when I'm looking at my data, I think I have all three things. I am procrastinating certain things. So I have a bunch of greens and a bunch of reds, right?
Yeah.
So certain things I'm putting all of my focus on, whereas certain things not at all. So for me, what it is telling me is that I need to maybe take the focus of things that are really green because, they are going well, and put some of the focus on the things that are red because I am obviously not procrastinating and I may or may not have the right people to do that. If
Mm,
I don't put the focus on it, I am never going to accomplish it. That's what it's telling me. Now, with respect to you, Trent, it's actually a little different because what I'm seeing is a bunch of yellows. What
yeah.
it means is that probably to your point, you have a lot of things that you are putting your attention to. Maybe you need to reduce the number of things
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
have like more specific, wildly important goals where you're putting in all your focus so that you have some greens during
Yes.
the week versus a lot of yellows.
Yeah, and I
Right?
think I think there's a delegation move there too, is like, hey, could someone else on my team be doing these things? So that's
Right.
one. I
Uh-huh.
think the other thing is when I look at my greens, are are do I choose those because they're easy? Like I can,
Yeah.
it's like we're back to like, hey, got the
Right.
mail, cross that off the list,
Yes.
like because we're
Uh-huh.
excited about accomplishing
Yep.
something. So
Yep.
like easy sometimes becomes first and becomes priority
Yep.
over what's important. And easy
Absolutely.
should never come before important.
Right. That's the reason why I started actually doing this wildly important goal where I say, yeah, I have 50 things that I have to do,
Yeah.
but which 4 or 5 of them are important? And let's make sure
Yes.
that those are done. So my target is really the wildly important goals that have to be green. So
That's right.
far, they've been yellow the last couple of weeks. The previous week it was green. So now I know that there is, I have to change the way I prioritize things so that that is something that I do focus on. So, I
Well,
mean, this is our weekly huddle, right? So we're taking a little bit more time to analyze everything. But
yes.
when you look at it daily, like you do, Trent, it's a lot easier because you are addressing things immediately.
Yes. Well, and I think one of the things that's really nice and that's probably critical for this when we talk about that wildly important, it comes up first.
Uh-huh.
This is where your focus should be.
Yes.
And in the app, online, anytime you open that up, your first things are going to see those 4 or 5 you said
Yep.
that were most. So if you go back and review that every morning, if these are your weekly,
Mhm.
you should be reminded like, hey, I don't have number 4 done yet.
Right.
Like it's Thursday,
Yep.
this has got to get completed. This is my week's important stuff. And the week shouldn't end without those things accomplished. And it really helped me last week for sure.
Right. And the daily thing. So we have the, it's like what Stephen Covey said, right? You have your the principles, I'm sorry, the Franklin Covey's principles. You have your big buckets, your big rocks, right? And then you have your pebbles and you have your sand. We spend our time on the sand most of the time and
Yeah.
ignore the big rocks. And the
Yeah.
wildly important goals are those big rocks that
Yeah.
we have to do every week. So yeah, so this has been very helpful for me. Is this I know we've started in the past few weeks. Has this helping you with your, with your week's productivity?
Yes, not only is it helping me, but more importantly for me, it's also great for me going back on the data of, sometimes we get busy, right? And we
Yep.
all accomplish things and they're not always the biggest things.
Yep.
Even though this is a weekly rock and important for this week, when you start looking at the month of February, which I just did with 2 clients yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and we start adding up all their big things they've done, like, hey, let's talk about some successes you've had last
Uh-huh.
month. You've been waiting 2 years to accomplish this, and this just got done through a couple weeks of focus,
Yeah.
right? And and they don't seem like big things, but all of a sudden, like we have an offering we didn't have before in that client's case, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so these things are happening in real time. And I equate it to working out, right? Where
Right.
like, hey, I want to exercise and like, well, I think my jeans fit a little differently, but every day I come out of the shower and I look in the mirror, hey,
Mhm.
do I look different? Every day I don't. But then I see a friend I haven't seen for a couple of months and they're like, whoa, what have you been doing? Like, you look
Exactly.
great. It's like, yeah, like the daily activity, like
Uh-huh.
right? We're back to that. Win the days, you win the weeks, you win the weeks, you win the month, you win the months, you win the quarters, you win the quarters, you win the year. And, it all happens. It all starts with today. What are we going to do?
Absolutely. And this is your concept of DD ops, right?
That's
Which
great.
is operationalizing it and measuring it every day and having that daily huddle where, the daily huddle can be, in agile terminology, we call it a daily stand-up. It's basically having the attention of everybody together, even if it's for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, so that you're kind of bringing your focus in and then dispersing and actually doing your job.
Without a doubt. And my clients rave about that because there's a lot of there's huge added value to it, right? There's communication, there's visibility, there's also collaboration and assistance. When I hear you do stand up in the huddle, on Wednesday, I'm driving my car, I see a sign and I'm like, oh, that company would be really good for Deepa's initiative. And I know
Right.
the CEO over there. Hey, Deepa, call on the phone. Hey, would it be helpful for me to make that introduction? Like now, I'm
Yes, Trent,
just,
it would be
yeah,
helpful
yeah,
for you to make that introduction.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're just stepping into someone's help, and we want to offer assistance and help with someone's initiatives. And now that I'm aware of what yours are, you're getting this help from even team members, even though you're not asking for it, right? You know
Absolutely.
your responsibilities, and so it's been a huge value add. And I think the other side of data driven operations is we're not giving away that information to a third party
Mhm.
provider of a Slack or a Facebook or something like that. We have our data and we keep it and we have visibility on that to
Yep,
share and utilize for forever.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we have the data. Again, it's all about you have activity and you have the data. Are you able to separate the activity from the data to actually glean the insights that you need to continuously making progress,
Yeah, we want
right?
to move that activity to productivity, right?
Right.
Those
And
big
insight.
itties.
Right.
That's right.
Okay, awesome. Hey, thank you, Trent. This is a little longer stand-up or huddle than normal, but typically our huddles are we try to keep it around 10 minutes or so. Our weekly huddles, we try to keep it around 10 minutes or so. But this is I know that it's helped me quite a bit. Again, having somebody as an accountability partner makes a big difference in making sure that otherwise I can just sweep it under the rug and give excuses. Now I don't have excuses when you see that I have 3 weeks in a row of red, I know I have to do something about it.
Right. Right. For sure.
Great. Thank
No
you.
judgment here, but here we go, right? Or just keep getting better.
That's right.
Well, thanks, Deepa, for having me.
Thank you.